Hello everybody, my name is Tabby and welcome back to my channel Keeping Tabs, where today I'm doing a reading wrap-up. So this is a wrap-up of books I read in January and February, and there's only 6, so not that many. I'm doing great this year. Love it. Luckily, all of the books that I read this past 2 months have been amazing, so let's just jump right into it. So to start off the year in January, I read Lover Enshrined by J.R. Ward, which is book 6. 6? I don't know anymore. Okay, it's up there. I think it's book 6 of the Black Dagger Brotherhood books. You know, I should probably make sure it's book 6. Yeah, it's book 6. This book revolves around Fury, the brother Fury, and his love interest Cormia. They met in the last book, and Fury has now become the primale, which is the male responsible for breeding the new generation of Brotherhood vampires, because the Black Dagger Brotherhood, their population is dwindling. It's only the 5-6 brothers. I don't even know how many brothers there are, but there's not many. And this war with the Lessers is getting more and more dangerous, and they need to replenish the Black Dagger Brotherhood population. And the only way to do that is if a Brotherhood vampire mates with a chosen female. And the chosen are females that are chosen from the scribe virgin, who is like the goddess of this world. So he has to mate with her, and that's how Brotherhood vampires are made. There are other vampires who fight with the Brotherhood, but they are not as strong because they are not actual brothers. So Fury is he's not chosen. He kind of takes the place of one of the other brothers who was chosen to be the primale, but he didn't want to. So Fury steps up and says, I'll do it. Even though he's taken a vow of celibacy for the past century, the chosen live on the other side with the scribe virgin, which is like this realm where everything is white. The food is white, the grass, the sky, everything is white. You do the same things every day. You cannot break ritual. Everybody's the same. Everybody talks the same. Everybody dresses the same. Everybody acts the same. So when Cormia gets picked by Fury to become his first mate, he kind of takes her to the real world because he can sense that she does not want this life. So he chooses her, brings her back because he also does not want this. He's celibate. He's also dealing with a whole bunch of other inner demons, and he has a huge drug addiction. So he's not ready for this, especially because, he's been celibate for a while. He don't even know if he can do it. So he brings Cormia over. She's completely overwhelmed by this new world. She's never been on this side. Everything has color. These foods have different tastes. There's thunderstorms, there's rain, there's everything that she's never experienced before. And he kind of just leaves her because he's dealing with everything, and he's still kind of in love with Bella, who's his twin's mate, his twin's wife. So that's fun. There's obviously a lot more that goes on between those two, and they're the couple. I like them, but Fury's not my favorite brother. He's dealing with a lot, and he's really dramatic about it. There's a lot of trigger warnings in this book, seriously, every trigger warning. J.R. Ward threw everything in here. There's drug abuse, there's sexual assault, there's so much violence, so much violence. I'm sure there's more. There's a lot that goes on in this book. The only reason I loved this book is because of John, who is a secondary character who we got introduced to in book 2. He is amazing, and his story in this book, my heart, okay? My whole heart was just aching and smiling and crying and laughing, and I love him so much. And he kind of gets introduced to his own little potential love interest in this book, and I love the dynamic between the two, him and the girl. Oh, I love it. But yeah, I gave this book a 4, maybe a 3.5, because Fury is not my favorite, and his storyline was kind of annoying, and he was being a baby. But Cormia is really cool. She's really badass. Once she was taken out of the chosen and out of that society, out of that realm, she started to become her own person, because there are so many girls in that realm who probably don't want to be there, but they've been chosen, so they have to, and they have to be a certain way, act a certain way. But they all have their own personalities, and by the end of the book, Cormia is we need to help those girls, because I can't be the only one who was screaming for freedom. There has to be more girls in there, and we need to help them. So I like Cormia. The next book that I read in January was The Last Wish by Andrzej Sapkowski, which is the first novella bind-up in the Witcher series that inspired the video game and that inspired the Netflix show. This is a novella bind up, like I said, and I forget how many short stories it has, but in between each short story is like 3-4 pages of a story that takes place in the present time, and it's connecting all of the short stories. So going into this, I did not know that the short stories, well, some of them, most of them, some of them are like fairy tale retellings, and not exactly retellings, but more like what happened after the story. So I don't know what the first story was, but it reminded me of Fiona from Shrek and her storyline, how she turns into the Shrek creature at night. Like, that's what the first story reminded me of, and I don't know what the real version of that fairy tale is called, but that was that one. And then the second one was Beauty and the Beast, and I loved it. And the third one was my favorite, and it's called The Lesser Evil, and it was Snow White, and I loved that story so much. I loved all of the short stories in here. And I have to say that the stories got way more enjoyable when Dandelion came into the stories. He's so funny, and I love the friendship that him and the Witcher have. The only thing I wanted from this book was a map, because this guy goes all over the freaking country into different towns and cities and kingdoms, and different princesses and kings are mentioned, and I have no idea where he's going. It's very confusing. A lot of names are mentioned, so I just wish there was a map, and there's no map, like not even in my other books. So that's sad. I also watched the Netflix show, and I love it. Henry is amazing as Geralt. I thought I was only going to be able to see him as Superman, but he was great, and I love it. I need season 2. Is there like a release date? Because I have needs. I love this book, and I gave it 4 stars, I think. The next book that I read was actually a graphic novel, and it is Blankets by Craig Thompson. And I've had this book. It was hiding in my closet. I was cleaning out my closet one day, and I found this, and I was like, oh shoot, I forgot that I own this. So I read it. It is a chunker, and it was actually really good. Craig Thomas is telling the story of his childhood. He grew up in a very religious home, and his teachings from his parents and from his Sunday school teachers, from his pastors, they put the fear of God in him, okay? He was always carrying around the Bible, reading it, quoting it, everything. And as he got older and older and started experiencing more teenage things and started falling in love, he started to question his teachings, because every time he would think something, he would also really quick think how sinful that is, and oh, he's gonna go to hell, and what would this person say, and what would Jesus say, and all that stuff. And it was kind of holding him back from actually enjoying his life. So by the end of the book, like, he's grown and he's thought about what he really wants, like religiously, and what he really believes in, and if he actually believes in these things, or if he was just made to believe them because they put the fear of God in this child, so now he's like afraid to live. So yeah, it was pretty cool. It's not like a religious book where it's preaching at you. It's religious in the sense, like, this kid grew up in a religious house, and then he's growing up, finding his way, and slowly discovering, like, maybe this is not the path I need to be on. Maybe this is not the religion for me. I don't know. I thought this was cool. I thought it was relatable, because I didn't grow up in a religious house, but I did spend 17 summers of my life at a very religious camp, and let me tell you, they put the fear of God in me, that's for sure. And as I got older, I was like, oh, this is weird, maybe this is not for me, I don't know. I'm still like a Christian, I guess, but man, they were crazy. Like, they were next level Christians. I'm sure you know what I mean. So yeah, I gave this book like 3.5 stars, because it was good and I related to it, but it wasn't like, I don't know, it's more of a coming of age story, which I like, but they're not really my go-to stories. I like action and stuff like that, so maybe that's why I took a star off. But then, like, I already knew it wasn't gonna be action, so why would I take a star off when I already knew? So, this is why I don't rate books. I don't know what I'm doing when it comes to rating. Okay, those were the 3 books that I read in January, and now I'm getting to the books that I read in February, and February was just amazing. I was participating in the Tome Toplathon, but I only read 2 books, so I don't know. The first book I read, and I read this book for the first time, is Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. Oh my god. This was my first time reading this book. I have not read the entire Harry Potter series. This was great. I love it. This is definitely my favorite Harry Potter book as of yet. It was book 4, But this, man, this, so many things, okay? So many things happened that I didn't know, and okay, first of all, Harry, I love him. He is my child. I love him so much. Like, when I was watching the movies, I obviously grew up on the movies because I am part of that generation who should have been reading these books as they came out, but I hated reading, so I didn't. But I did grow up on the movies, and I liked Harry, but I never really had like a favorite character in the movies. Harry is my favorite character, okay? I don't care. I will fight anyone. Harry is precious and I love him and he is my favorite, and I loved angsty, frustrated Harry in this book because he had every right, okay? They left him in the dark all summer after he freaking went toe to toe with Voldemort, watched Cedric die, and then they're just gonna like leave him in the summer. No news. Just I was mad. I was ready to fight. And I was so mad at Dumbledore this whole time. Oh, frick. Can we just talk about in the beginning? I think Harry wants to leave or something, or no, Uncle Vern wants to kick Harry out, and they're ready to kick him out. And then all of a sudden, there's a howler that comes in, and it's addressed to Aunt Petunia. And I'm just like, what? Wait, what? And it turns out she knows way more about the Harry Potter world. She knows way more about the Wizarding world than I ever thought, than they ever expressed or revealed in the movies. She knew what Dementors were. She knew what Azkaban prison was. Like, I was shocked. Like, she was saying these words, like, whoa, Aunt Petunia, what? Obviously, she knew about the Wizarding world because of Lily, but I did not know she knew all about this. And she got a howler from Dumbledore that said, remember my last. And I was like, what? And after that howler, she's like, he has to stay. I did not, what? I was waiting to know what that meant the whole book, and I didn't know until the end, so that was frustrating. But I did not know she knew so much about the world, and at the end we find out that the only reason that Harry kept going back to the Dursleys, and I was always wondering, like, why do they keep sending him home in the summer? Like, they hate him, he hates them, like, why are we sending him home? I don't know if they explain that in the movies and I missed it, but in the book it's mentioned that because like Aunt Petunia has Lily's blood and the blood of family, whatever, her accepting the baby all those years ago into her house was an automatic like spell of protection, and so he cannot be hurt by Voldemort as long as he's in that house. I didn't know that. What? I thought they were just sending him home because I didn't even know why. I thought it was dumb the whole time I was watching the movies. I was like, why isn't he living with the Weasleys? Like, why is he going home back to the dirt? I don't make no sense. Also, they get to Grimmauld Place and they're cleaning out some closet and they come across a locket. They come across a locket and they cannot get it open, so they just fling it. It's just like junk to them. That's the Horcrux. That is the Horcrux. I was screaming, okay, that is the Horcrux, and they didn't even know? Yo. Oh! It's so frustrating because they have so much trouble trying to get a hold of that locket later on, and it was right there. They had it in their hands. I love this book. Let's talk about Sirius for a second because I like Sirius. He's not my favorite. Like, I definitely prefer Lupin over Sirius. But I felt so bad for him because obviously he's been in Azkaban prison for 12 years. He's a little messed up, okay? And Harry, this is his godfather. So he wants his approval. He wants to be close to him. He wants, that relationship. But it's so sad when not every time. He doesn't do it that often, but Sirius will sometimes say, oh, you're not your father. Or, James would have done this. And I just feel bad for Harry hearing that because it's it's not fair, and I was mad at Sirius for that, but then he's been in Azkaban for 12 years. He's messed up, so, it's okay. But wow, I just felt bad. I felt bad, and then Sirius died, and I'm so confused about that, because in the movie, Bellatrix clearly says the killing curse. She says Avada Kedavra, and then he dies and falls into that arch. But in the books, Harry just sees the blue light flash on his chest, and Sirius is like stunned, and then he stumbles back into the arch. So I'm confused about what that arch is, because in the movie, Bellatrix killed him and then he fell into the arch. But in the book, she just like hit him with a spell and then he fell into the arch and died. So does the arch like kill you? Like, can a healthy person walk through the arch and make it out on the other side, or are they gonna be dead? Like, what is the arch? I'm confused. Also, Cho Chang, okay? I thought the reason that they stopped going steady was because she ratted them out to Umbridge, but in the book, it's some random girl who does that. In the book, Cho is so annoying. She is so annoying, and Harry's like, she's always crying. I don't know what to do. It's really funny, but she's really annoying. She is always crying, and I get it. I mean, Cedric and whatever, but like, girl, Harry has bigger problems, okay? Can you just hold back on the tears for a second? And also, she gets jealous over Hermione. Like, what? Are you kidding? So, yeah, I'm glad that they're not a thing. Ginny has so much lines in this book. I love her, and I wish they did her justice in the movies. I really do. Also, Quidditch was a thing. I forgot that Quidditch was not a thing in the movies. I watched the movies after reading this book. There's no Quidditch. Ginny becomes the Seeker because Harry gets expelled from all When Umbridge said that he is not expelled, but he can't play Quidditch anymore, like, someone needs to do something about Umbridge, and it needs to involve violence, because I do not like that girl. I do not like that girl. And yes, she does get taken away at the end, but that took too damn long, man. Someone had she was so frustrating. And we got all that information about the giants from Hagrid. I just keep thinking about everything that we got, and I love it. The end, when Dumbledore is explaining why he did what he did to Harry and why he was treating him like that, why he left him in the dark, and he revealed the whole and Petunia's blood and love and blah blah blah, you can't be hurt in the house, whatever. And Harry lost it. He was throwing things around. He was so mad. He was so upset. He was so over it. He didn't want to be him anymore. He's like, I don't want to be me. I've done enough. I've seen enough. I don't want this anymore. And oh my God. It was just heartbreaking because the kid has been through it, okay? And in the movie at the end, he's just sitting on the bed, just like all sulky. But this, he freaking, he was mad, he was sad, he was frustrated, he was angry, he was everything, and he exploded, and I loved that. It was so much more real than what the movie did. I just love this book so much, and I love angsty, angry Harry, and I just wanted to hug him. He is precious. He's my favorite, and I cannot wait to read the other books. Let me know what your favorite book is. Do you love Harry as much as me, or am I just... I love him. I love him so much. Okay, next book that I read in February was Children of Blood and Bone. I finally read this. This was my most anticipated book of 2018, okay? And I haven't read it yet. And sometimes when I'm really anticipating a book, I get so hyped about it, and everybody else gets really hyped. Like, everybody was hyped about this. And that, when there's so much hype about it, I don't know, sometimes it just, like, scares me, and I think it's not gonna be good. I don't know why I do this. I did it with Akawar, and I did it with something else. I did it with King of Scars. Still haven't read King of Scars, and that was my most anticipated book of 2019. Still haven't read it. So, I don't know why that happens, but sometimes when I wait long enough and I let that hype build up again, I read the book and I love it way more than I thought I was going to. So that's kind of like my method now. When I really am anticipating a book, I just wait till everybody reads it, wait till the hype dies down until my hype builds back up again, and I read it, and then I love it way more than I thought. So I don't know if that makes sense to you, but I did that with Children of Blood and Bone, and it worked, okay? This was amazing! This is about okay, I was gonna say country, but then we find out it's like the whole world basically, where magic was once a thing, and there was once people who could manipulate elements and kind of had like, I've heard this being compared with The Last Airbender. I've never read it, never seen it, I don't know about that story, but I know that there's elemental magic, so I thought that this book was based on elemental magic, so earth, air, water, fire, but there are so many more powers in this book. There's powers of the mind, dream walking, there's Reaper powers, which is what our main character has, so she can manipulate spirits and ghosts and like bodies and stuff like that. So I loved it. It was great. There were so many powers, and obviously there was a really cool fire power scene, and I have a weakness for fire powers. I don't know why, but I love it. Anyways, once upon a time, people had these powers, but then they magically disappeared, and the people who had these powers became the minority, and they became hated and hunted and just despised, and so they've been living a very horrible life. And our main character is one of them. One day, she discovers that there is a chance that she can bring power back to the land, that she can bring magic back to the land and to her people. So she goes on a journey and tries to do that. Obviously, there's more, but I'm so bad at summarizing, so you'll just have to accept that little bit. This book was told by 3 points of view, 3 different characters, which I was not expecting. I thought it was only the main character, and so I loved it because I love multiple POV books. My favorite one was Anan because I just really like his position. He's the prince of the king who helped destroy magic, so he is the enemy. But over time, we discover some things about him that change the way he thinks, the way other people see him, and it was just so cool. Yeah, I really liked this book, but the freaking end, man, the cliffhanger was not cool. It wasn't cool. I need to know what happened, okay? Also, if you read book 2, I already have it on the way. Luckily, I don't have to wait a year, or was it a year? Did it come out this year? I don't even remember. I know it came out though. Luckily, I don't have to wait as long to read the second book. But does Saley and Rowan get together? Because I need that to happen. I sure do. I loved all the cultural and racial references that tie into things that we have to deal with today in our real lives, things that people of color have to deal with. So I thought that was really cool. And yeah, and I love this book. I love this cover, and I cannot wait to read book 2. Okay, last book that I have, that I read in February, and I freaking loved it. 5 stars. I am so lucky with these books that I've read. All of them have been amazing. This one, no exception. I read Death Note Black Edition Volume 2, which is Volume 3 and 4 of the regular volumes. This is so good. This is so good. Like, this just keeps getting better and better. The plot twists are amazing. These characters are so smart. Watching Elle and Light go back and forth, trying to trick the other when their intelligence is, like, matched. Like, they are both so smart. Like, it's impossible for them to try and trick each other because they are both on the same level. They both know what each other is thinking, what each other is going to do. And it's just so interesting trying to see them figure the other person out. I love it. I love it. I love it. We also get to meet a new death god called Rem and his Death Note person, and I like her too. It's just Misa. I read the Death Note Netflix live action movie. Did I say I read it or did I say I watched it? Because I meant watched, and I don't remember what I said. Anyways, I watched it and I actually liked it, and it was before I read Death Note. I liked the movie and I thought it was cool. I know, I'm so disappointed in myself. This book and that movie, like, it's sinful that they have the same name. Like, no, these are not the same. So different. They did such an injustice to the character Light, because like I said, he is so smart. He's calm, cool, collected, and super intelligent. The freaking Light in the Netflix movie? I can't. Oh, wow. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry they did that to you. It's so sad. But yeah, I'm loving this and I cannot wait to continue. I have volume 3, but I need to purchase the other volumes. It's great. Okay, that was my wrap up for the past 2 months. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Let me know if you've read any of these books. Let me know what your favorite Harry Potter book is, because I cannot wait to finish Harry Potter. Like, after reading Order of the Phoenix, I am ready. I am ready. And it's even better because Deathly Hallows and Half-Blood Prince are the movies that I've seen the least amount of times. I usually just rewatch the first 4, and I watch number 5 like sometimes, but the last 2 I barely rewatch. Like, I really don't remember a lot of those movies, so reading the books is going to be super fun. I can't wait. I love Harry. I love him. He's so great. Anyways, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and comment and subscribe if you wanna, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.